Again, good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm April Wagner, and I know you're going to be super excited about what we have to talk about tonight as far as activation versus supplementation, and you might not quite be sure what I'm talking about, but I can promise you at the end, you'll be really grateful to the person that actually invited you on here tonight with this information. In fact, you might want to give them a hug or a kiss when you get back to them. So, but anyway, so like I said, we are going to talk about activation. This is an industry that my husband and I, we've actually been in now for almost 30 years at this point. We started with a supplementation company some 30 years ago. And we were with that company for 25 years before we actually found out about activation. So supplementation to me is if you've ever taken a multivitamin, if you've ever taken a vitamin D or a C, if you've ever eaten fruits or vegetables, that's what I'm considering supplementation. That's direct antioxidants that we're putting in our bodies for the benefits of staying healthy. Activation, as we go through this, is something that my husband and I found out about after being in this industry for 25 years. And in those 25 years, we worked with lots and lots of physicians. We were in and out of physicians' offices. In fact, we did some over $200 million in sales of nutritional products with these physicians. So you would have thought we would have heard of this before, but when I share with you what activation is and what it does, I know you're going to be greatly, greatly surprised by this. And it's something that really applies to everyone at really any age. So this is actually a discovery that was found in a lab. And it actually was found as a question to a scientist, is declining health something we must accept as part of getting old? And so to me, this has always kind of loomed, pretty heavily on me because, I took care of my grandmother early on when she was very sick, in and out of nursing homes. And, the last 10 years of her life were not kind to her. And I wouldn't wish them on anyone. She didn't remember who I was, feeding tubes, the whole bit. And my husband's grandmother, she had 9 children. She actually went around the house before she passed. She labeled everything and then sat down in a chair and passed. And so having those polar opposites, I definitely want to go the way that my husband's grandmother did as opposed to mine, because we do know statistically that the last 10 years of our lives, for the most part, are greatly dependent on pharmaceutical drugs, medical doctors, our families. They're really not good years. So if we can have that quality of life, and that's what I'm going to talk about, if we can have quality of life, wouldn't that be so much more exciting to people? And isn't that what people want? Well, this scientist figured out that there's a pathway in our body that actually throws off antioxidants. So I hope you got that. Throws off antioxidants. The whole reason we're taking supplements, eating fruits and vegetables. But the downside, and I have to tell you, he was awarded all kind of awards for this discovery back in the 60s. But the downside was these antioxidants that our bodies are producing stops in our 20s. And so we now know that aging starts in our 20s. Well, luckily for us, he went back to the lab for a number of decades, and he actually discovered a way in which to flip the switch on this pathway. And so this pathway that throws off all these antioxidants is called Nrf2 activation. And by flipping this pathway, we can now turn on our good genes, which determine how well we live, and turn off our bad genes, which might be, all the disease and sickness that maybe run in people's families. So we're no longer destined to the bad genes of our parents. We have control over them through using products like these, through exercise and diet. So we now have a large control over how well we live. Now, the pathway that he talks about has a medical term called oxidative stress. And oxidative stress is really the difference between the amount of free radicals our body creates while we're eating, breathing, it's inevitable, exercise, the environment, cell phones, microwaves, all excel the amount of these free radicals. And we try to take in antioxidants to offset that, but we can never take in enough antioxidants. And that's why this pathway is so exciting. You can see over time that all of these free radicals attack our cells and they make for very, very diseased cells. And it seems to accelerate as we get older. And so that's why this is something we want to kind of nip in the butt as early on as we can. So, I've got children, early in their 20s, in late teens, I had them started on these products because the Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer, what it does is it reduces that diseasing of the cells that I just talked about, that oxidative stress, by some 40% in the first 30 days. And you can imagine the impact, and we'll go through some of the studies that might have as far as health benefits to us, things that we're all concerned with on a daily basis. Protandim actually activates the body to create more than 1 million times per second the antioxidant value per tablet. It increases glutathione, which you may have heard a little bit more of based on some of the pandemics and the virus that's going on. Glutathione is our master antioxidant. Very, very hard to increase our glutathione levels. Can't do it through foods or diet. But Protandim, this one pill, actually increases that glutathione by over 300%. And because this is so exciting, we have over 13 patents that actually protect anyone else from duplicating this formulation that we've come to. Now, this formulation is plant-based, and people are often amazed. I have to tell you, as I said, we were in the nutritional industry for many, many years, 25 years before finding out about this amazing discovery. And so we took turmeric, we took ashwagandha, we took green tea and some of the supplements we took, and we used to take boatloads of pills, just big bowls of it. And I could have said, you know what, maybe we'll just add the bacopa and the milk thistle to it and call it a day and take 5 pills instead of 1 and not really vary our routine. But it doesn't work that way. The recipe, the synergistic effect that this scientist has put together with these 5 different plant-based ingredients in 1 pill, I'd rather take 1 pill instead of 5, actually gives us 1,800% better results using his 1 pill than if I was the mad scientist and took 5 of these in whoever knows what amounts and hope for the best. So 1,800% better results. But it gets even better than that. We can take this 1 pill of Protandim Nrf2, or we could actually ingest every day, day in and day out, 11 pounds of blueberries, 375 oranges, 120 tablets of vitamin C, and drink 87 glasses of red wine every day, day in and day out. And like I said, that's huge. I can't imagine what the cost is. I think at one point I put it together before food prices went wild, and it was like $700 a day, or I could take this 1 pill. This 1 pill is so powerful that for every month you're on it, you reduce a whole decade of that oxidative stress, which is aging, disease. So you can't start this too early. So much so that if I took an 80-year-old who had been on this product for 8 months, a 60-year-old who'd been on this product for 6 months, and a 40-year-old who'd been on the product for 4 months, and a 20-year-old, I could not truly tell whose blood was that of a 20-year-old, because we know the greater the oxidative stress, the greater those free radicals, more disease, more inflammation, more aging goes on. So we want to protect this so that, we can keep our blood of when we were a 20-year-old. I believe everyone would want that for sure. Just remember how you felt when you were 20. The NIA, which is the National Institute of Aging, actually did a study that shows that Protandim actually increases the lifespan by an average of 7%. And they did this in male mice because animals have that much greater oxidative stress. You've heard dogs live, 7 years to our 1 year, or we live 1 year to their 7 years. So they age that much faster. Well, that's oxidative stress. And if we can control that, we can control or extend lifespan and also disease and aging and inflammation and all that bad stuff we don't want. What's really cool is there are a bunch of places that you actually can go to get proof of everything I'm saying. This is not my opinion. When we were with that first company for 25 years, if I talked to you about the amount of vitamin C or D you were taking or certain multivitamins or whatever, it was definitely all my opinion. There were studies on vitamin C and recommendations, but not ever on the products that I was talking about. Well, here on the product itself, there are some 30 plus studies. You can either go to Google Scholar, you can go to pubmed.gov, and you can see the studies on our products as they relate to inflammation, disease, and aging. Oxidative stress itself has some over 250,000 studies that you, again, can go to Google Scholar, you can go to PubMed, put in oxidative stress, put in whatever disease state, aging, inflammation you're interested in, and up will pop all these studies. And these are studies done by large medical universities. Harvard is one. You've got Colorado State, Florida State, Ohio State. There's so many different large universities that have done studies. Like I said, there's over 30 studies to date. The National Institute of Health. But Washington State University went so far as to say, and they made this statement, that the health effects of Nrf2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. And that's the history of medicine. And they likened that to big discoveries such as penicillin, aspirin, and more recently, stem cells. So big discoveries there. But the second theory of aging we have, which is equally important, and I'm seeing a lot more of this come out, people that are really into what a term we call biohacking or nutrigenomics and just staying healthy naturally, is the importance of mitochondria. Mitochondria is the energy that we have at a cellular level that really attributes, how well our cells will actually repair themselves should they be hit with disease and stuff. And so our body needs a lot of this. The sad fact is, by the time we reach midlife, we've already reduced half of the amount of mitochondria that we have. And again, that's the energy to make our heart beat, our lungs go in and out and inflate and stuff, our brain, our muscles. Really, really important that we keep this, but simple things in our society. Stress could be one, lack of sleep, taking Advil products, different pharmaceutical drugs. I mean, all these things can play a role in decreasing the amount of mitochondria. And so, you may not feel that energy, you may not feel that well-being, that energy, endurance, recovery that you would feel had your mitochondria levels stayed high to that of when you were maybe in your 20s. So Protandim Nrf1 actually increases cellular energy by slowing down the aging process. It improves sleep quality and cellular repair. It supports cardiovascular system and the brain health, and really all systems, because all systems need that energy, improves cellular health, and really just boosts that mitochondria production, which is so important. And again, you can see just natural ingredients, but the synergistic effect that he's put together with this recipe gives us all these benefits that we so sorely need. The last pathway that we have is something called NAD. And NAD to me is a true anti-aging product. And really it helps with whatever area your weakest link is. For some people, it could be mental focus and concentration. For others, it could be positive mood and motivation. It could be exercise endurance. It could be exercise recovery. It can boost physical and mental energy. It can help with weight loss. It can help with libido. It can help with the body's inflammation response, maintain cholesterol levels, the vascular system, and we can go on and on. What's super cool about this product is we get 100% activation in the first 24 hours. And you can see there's competition out there that they try to even make these claims. They come nowhere near to what we do. And in fact, this is such a great anti-aging pathway to activate that there are people out there that would go on severe calorie restricted diets, meaning somebody like me, maybe 400 or 600 calories a day for a long period of time, to be able to create these proteins at a cellular level, to be able to get the benefits that we're getting here from, again, improving mental focus and concentration and libido and weight loss and mood and all those great benefits to help keep us healthy. Again, 400 to 600 calories a day. So this is a very easy product for us to take. But what's equally interesting is our company has now been doing more studies, and they're doing studies on the 3 of these products together. And we now know that the 3 of these products together, we get 2,100% better results. So quite often people say, well, should I take the Nrf2? Should I take the Nrf1? Should I take the NAD? But again, using all 3 of them, each one of those products gets 2,100% better results, because it's kind of like a pinball machine. The pathways play off one another. So you can actually maximize all those amazing benefits that I talked about. We also, in addition to having that tri-synergizer, which we get all those health benefits I've been talking about, we have that Nrf2 activation on the outside as well. So we can use it in a hair care line. We can use it in a skin care line. What's interesting, if you're not familiar, there's an app on your phone called Think Dirty. And whatever you currently have in your shower, as far as a shampoo, a body wash, if you're using any kind of a hand lotion like I have here or whatever, you want to go to this app, Think Dirty, and put that in there. I was just blown away with how bad and how harmful and so many contaminants were in the things that were so-called healthy that we were using prior to these lines. And you can see the app rates anywhere from a 0 to a 10, and most of our stuff comes in at, a 1 or a 2. So, that's our skincare and hair care line, very results oriented. We actually have a Facebook community. You can go and see all the benefits that people have gotten, particularly with their hair and their skin and stuff. But in addition to that, we have brain energy drink that you can just mix up with some water. Tastes really great, has that Nrf2 activation in it. And then we also have a newer product that's called Icy Bright that we've gotten amazing results with. Some of the testimonies from people driving at night to macular degeneration, retina problems, just being able to read better, not needing cheaters, so many great benefits from using this. And again, we are in front of computers, cell phones, just like we are now all day long, from the sunlight to the TV. We are bombarded with this blue light that does a lot of damage to our eyes. So, this is a great way to go ahead and reduce the fatigue that we're getting from not only the direct sun, but from the devices as well. But again, this is a summary of just some of the benefits that I've been talking about, whether it's improving your sleep quality, improves exercise endurance, recovery there, increase overall energy, better memory, focus, concentration, libido, weight loss, healthier hair, skin, and nails. And really, like I said, for every month that you're on the product, it reduces a whole decade of oxidative stress, which is directly related, if you go on PubMed or Google Scholar, to every disease, aging, inflammation out there, so that we can actually slow down this aging process to that of when our blood was that of a 20-year-old. So just amazing, amazing stuff. But what's really cool? That was the product discovery. There's an equally exciting discovery about how the company came to be. And I'm going to invite my husband to come down, and he's actually going to share that story with you. So if you'll hold on one more minute, and thanks for your time.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well. It's funny. I was trying to answer some comments in the chat while I was letting guests and stuff in, and the person that was asking questions kind of reminded me of myself. I start hearing, I am on all these products. I use all these products, and I would never go a day without them. Okay, that's just not going to happen. And when I hear April talking about the products and the benefits, I just want to take them again. As a matter of fact, that little yellow pill, that Nrf2, I actually do 2 of those a day. But I figure if I'm twice her size, I can take 2, if she's taking 1. But almost as amazing as the products. And April told you, we were in this industry dealing with medical doctors. Okay, we've been in the industry 30 years. We've been with our first company for 25 dealing with doctors, and we never heard of this, okay? And they never heard of this. And that's what's so exciting, okay? It's the best kept secret out there. So who is LifeVantage? Well, LifeVantage is our company. It's how we got started. It's our name. And what really happened is back in 2005, before we were even a marketing company, okay, before then, ABC Primetime, which you can still catch on TV, okay, reruns are on all the time, they did an investigative report, and they heard about these so-called claims, okay, about, reducing oxidative stress and having the blood of a 20-year-old and things like that. And they wanted to do a gotcha. They wanted to prove it was a lie or a scam. That's what they do on their investigative report. And they sent John Kionis, their regular investigative reporter, in, and he had his blood checked. He had his blood taken. It's a telomere test, okay? He had his blood taken. and started using the product. But he didn't wait 30 days to see what happened with his oxidative stress, okay? He didn't wait 30 days. He only waited 2 weeks and then had his blood checked again. And I'm like, well, that's kind of cheating, you know, that's not really fair. But, you know, I wasn't with the company then. There was no company then. And they checked his blood again. And do you know his oxidative stress in just 2 weeks was already down 45%. Okay, in just 2 weeks. Who knows what that number would have been had he waited 30 days. And he's been on the products for the whole time now. But we're now on the NASDAQ. We're a publicly traded company. We're 12 years old. We started in 2009. And the big thing was this product requires a little bit of a testimony. You know, there's a little bit of a story behind it. So when we were in retail stores like Vitamin Shops and GNC back in the early 2000s, the product didn't sell. Nobody knew what it did. Nobody ever heard of it. Nobody knew we had our own pathways. Nobody knew we can make our own antioxidants within our body. Nobody knew any of that. So the product didn't sell. And it wasn't until we went to direct sales or network marketing, as I like to call it, okay, in 2009 that it began to work, okay, and sell. And you know that we are the leaders in a brand new industry called nutrigenomics. You know, LifeVantage is the leader in that industry. That industry itself is going to be a $17 billion industry in the next 2 years. But we're doing over 200 million a year in sales as a company currently on the NASDAQ. You know, and I always like to throw in because, you know, if you're, you know, I just recently turned 62. I know who Erin Brockovich is from the movie. I used to think it was Julia Roberts, but obviously Erin Brockovich is Erin Brockovich. The real Erin Brockovich is on our board of directors. So it's kind of interesting, but, you know, she's a worldwide health advocate and, you know, she sits on our board. So it's pretty neat knowing that, but we are global. Okay, we're not just a US company. We're based in the US. We're based out of Utah, but we're in 23 countries. And I just found out today our newest country, the Philippines, that opened about 80 days ago, okay, just did its first $1 million in business in the first 85 days that we've been open. So, you know, we're going to take this thing all over the world. We're like I said, currently in 23 countries, looking to go into 100 countries over the next 5 or 10 years. Now, that's a little bit about the company, okay? What I want to take the last few minutes to talk to you about is the benefits of this type of business, especially post-pandemic, especially after this last 2 years of what went on. You know, you had the big, I call it the big retirement. It was the big quit, you know, where 4.9 million people just left their jobs, you know. Things changed, okay? The last 2 years, we all know people that got sick, okay? We know people that their job situations weren't stable. Some were in, you know, jobs where they had to work on 100 hours a week. Some lost their jobs. I mean, but we all know people that were affected by the pandemic. So listen to the benefits of this business and tell me that this isn't the perfect solution for many of those people, and for me and April, including ourselves. A chance to work from home or anywhere you choose, okay? Because this is a business, you work from your cell phone or your laptop. So as long as you get Wi-Fi service, you can do business. It's a social sharing business where we share information by text, or we have an app, a LifeVantage app on our phone. Everything's done virtually. We have a virtual office to run the business. There's minimal startup costs. There's no inventory requirements, little to no overhead. And we all have our own online store. And what I love about this, we have business in the Philippines, and I don't know if you can see my mouse, but up here, there's a flag on our personal store. And all I got to do is click it onto the country where I want to do business. And that website converts to the products that are available in that country and the language. It's really cool. I mean, you know, you're talking about building a global business from your cell phone. And, you know, obviously when I first got in this industry, that didn't exist. Now, let me just give you an idea of the earning possibilities. I'm not going to go into any specific numbers, but, we have a rank. We go, we have names and ranks that we call ourselves. But a Pro 3 in this business is someone whose team is doing $5,000 a month in business. Do you know our average Pro 3 makes $600 or $700 a month? Do you know that package that April was talking about, that Tri-Synergizer, do you know that that's only 50 of those? If you had a team moving 50 of those, you'd have a repeat income month after month after month of $600 to $700 a month. Do you know if you help a couple people do what you did and you go down here to Pro 5 and you're making $3,000 to $4,000 a month, that is just having, let's see, 200 people on the product, having 4 teams that have 50 customers. That's all that is. Okay. And if you go down to the third red arrow, that's our Pro 7. That's 100,000. Okay. That's 1,000 people on the product. That's like having 10 teams that have 100 customers. Okay. So, and April and I, we've been here 4 years. We're pretty new to the company. Okay. We're down at this level at Pro 8. So I'm showing you that because I want you to understand that whether it's $700 a month, $3,000 a month, $13,000 or more, this could replace one of a 2-income household. It could replace both incomes. It could be a start to assisting a retirement. It could put people, kids through college. We're not talking about, you don't necessarily have to give up what you're doing. It could be that second or third stream of income so you don't have all your eggs in one basket. And what we specialize in is showing you how to put a business plan together in order to accomplish that. So really the only question is this: is this a good business opportunity? Okay, well, we have unique patented products and no competition. I would say that's good. Okay, we're the best kept secret in the world. Well, that's good if you're starting a business. That's bad because you want to become a household word. Okay, we have a mass market where everybody could benefit from these products, from children all the way to geriatrics. They're super affordable. Okay, they're backed by reputable science. And what I love about it is they're consumable, and every month they get reordered. And we use a subscription model. And for those of you that may not know what that is, if you let it go out every month on subscription, you can save about 20% and get free shipping. And if you ever want to cancel it or delay it or skip a month, whatever, you can just log in. It takes 30 seconds to do that. So of course it's a good business opportunity, but what's the real question? Can I do this? Okay, that's the question. That's the question everybody has. You know what, Bobby? It sounds good, but can I do this? Well, to be honest with you, and I mean really honest with you, you're already doing it. You are already doing everything that it takes to do this business. You're just not getting paid for it yet. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you're on a Zoom. Okay, somebody invited you through a text or their app on their phone to look at what we're doing. Okay, so if you can use an app or you can text, you can do this business. Well, like, when do I do the business? Well, when do you check your email? When do you check your text? When do you get on Facebook? When do you call Uber? When do you? It's the in-between times of our day. It's whenever we got a few minutes. Okay, it's not like the old day. When April and I got involved in this industry, well, we always did hotel meetings, meetings in offices, big groups. Hey, it's not like that anymore. Now you shoot some information over to somebody, a video over to somebody. If they like it, they either join or they buy. I mean, it's that simple. We use a very easy to follow ITT system. That's our daily method of operation. It's how we do it. We teach you how to invite. We show you the tools to use when you're inviting, and there's a team available to assist and answer questions while you're new and learning how to do the first 2 steps. So, we have all the regular meetings and trainings for those that, want to do things the way they were done pre-pandemic. Okay, but we have multiple different ways that people can do this business. And that's what excites me. I get more and more excited with the online possibilities, But my favorite thing is still being around people because I like being around people, you know? So here's how you can be supportive. First of all, thank you for your 30 minutes of spending some time with us this evening. And please let the person that invited you know that you are on, okay? But here's how you can be supportive. There's 3 things that you can be doing here. Number 1, just become a customer and use the product, you know, and try and have the blood of a 20-year-old and live longer and healthier and work on inflammation and disease and all that good stuff April talked about. So, you know, you can say get a 20% discount of free shipping just by going on subscription. That's easy. Okay. You could help us in the crusade of sharing the message and join us in the business. Now, that doesn't obligate you to a certain amount of time or commitment, but it allows you, okay? It allows you to play as big or as little as you choose each and every day that you choose. And all we do there is we share the products and information on how people can adjust or change your lives. And I'll tell you what I've always said to people. I've always had people say, well, what exactly do you do? Okay, and I would just tell you this. I help people do less of the things they don't like so they could do more of the things that they do like. That's what I do, okay? And it's just a matter of adjusting a little bit. That's all there is to it. But you could also be a source of referrals. Now, we would suggest you be a source of referrals for yourself, okay? But if not, then a referral source to the person who invited you. And what do I mean by referral? Every time you hear someone that doesn't like their job, their business, or their situation, you have something to offer. Every time somebody is not feeling well, you know, I'm not going to get into specifics on this, but the products we have and what they do for your immune system is mind-boggling. And the information coming out, the science coming out every day now about the value of natural immunity and the things that we can do to help ourselves. I'm not making no claims, but I'm just telling you, this is the right stuff, okay? And you know, for those of us that have been on the product, we already know that, but the media is starting to talk about the things that gave people the natural immunity and what helped them and what they were doing beforehand that helped them deal with what everybody had to deal with for the last couple of years. So getting started, it's very easy. Just speak to the person who invited you onto this Zoom. They can send you a link to enroll yourself. They can send you a link to get the product. If you still have questions, which you very possibly may, just get them answered. Ask your questions. I'm available to answer any questions for anybody. Just get your questions answered. But with that, number 1, I just want to say we are very grateful that you gave us a half hour of your time. Okay, very, very grateful. We never take anybody's time for granted, and we appreciate it. Now, you heard a tiny little bit about the product and the benefits of the product from April. I would strongly suggest you go to our Facebook group. It's called Lifespan Matters with Team Unity. The link is right there, okay? You can ask the person who invited you to send you an invite. You can just look us up on Facebook, whatever it is. Go into that group and read the stories and the testimonies yourself and just see what unsolicited testimonies and health results are coming from people using these products. You'll be amazed at what you read, okay? And it'll just, I'm telling you, I'm still amazed. And, you know, I'm one of the people that allows people to post their health stories in there. And every time I read it, I'm amazed. But what I'd like to do is we're going to sign off, but I'd like everybody to come back to full screen. This is my favorite part, okay? And so we can see each other, okay? I wish we could do the whole meeting seeing each other, okay? But I've become a fan of Zoom, okay? I have. Hi, everybody, okay? I have become a fan of it. It's a way of life now. It's a tool that we can use to do business all over the world and touch people all over the world. And it's it's an amazing thing, and I've become a big fan of it. So 2 things, okay, and then we'll call it a night. Please let the person who invited you or sent you the link tonight, let them know you were on, and let them know where you stand. If you'd like to try the product yourself, if you're interested in learning more about getting involved in the business, or if you just have some questions, let them know where you are. And then we'll get you plugged into whatever's next. Okay. And like I said, I'm always available to answer questions. So is April. So with that, I'm going to let you go, but everyone's got to wave goodnight. Okay. Everyone that's live's got to wave. And we'll be back in a few weeks to do this again. So if you want to join us, you can invite some folks on to the next one in a couple of weeks. We'll give you the information on that. But have a good night, everyone. And I really appreciate your time tonight. Bye-bye.